Timmy the Turtle lived in a peaceful pond surrounded by tall, leafy trees. He was a gentle creature with a small, hard shell that gleamed a deep green and soft, thoughtful eyes that reflected the calm waters he called home. Timmy was an introvert by nature. He loved the quiet, the sound of the water lapping gently against the shore, and the company of the other animals in the pond. But one thing Timmy often felt was different from the others: he didn't think of himself as particularly brave. The other animals were quick and agile, like the frogs who leaped with ease, or the birds who soared through the sky without a care. Timmy was slower, more deliberate in his movements, and often felt left behind. One crisp morning, Timmy was sitting at the water's edge watching a group of frogs leap from one rock to another. They were jumping so high and fast, their legs propelling them effortlessly through the air. Timmy sighed wistfully, wishing he could join in, but he knew his legs weren't built for such leaps. He pulled his head back into his shell and muttered to himself, "I'll never be like them." As the day went on, the sun rose higher in the sky, and a soft breeze rustled through the trees. Timmy decided to take a slow walk along the bank of the pond. He loved the feel of the warm sun on his back, the earth beneath his feet, and the peacefulness of the world around him. He wasn't in a rush, and he didn't need to be. Timmy had learned that being slow had its own beauty. As Timmy wandered further along the edge of the pond, he noticed a small commotion up ahead. A group of animals had gathered around the water, their voices raised in concern. Timmy, curious as always, crept closer to see what was going on. He saw that the situation involved a young rabbit named Lily, who was standing nervously at the edge of a steep cliff. Below her, the water roared in a rushing stream. Lily was clearly frightened and seemed unsure of how to get down. Her long ears twitched with anxiety as she looked down at the water below. "I can't make the jump," Lily said, her voice trembling. "It's too far down and the current is so strong. I don't know what to do." The other animals tried to comfort her, but none of them could offer a solution. The frogs, the birds, and even the beavers, who were known for their resourcefulness, could not come up with a plan that would help Lily get to safety. Timmy watched from the side, his heart racing. He wanted to help, but he wasn't sure how. "I'm too slow," he thought, "and I'm not as brave as the others." But something inside Timmy stirred. It wasn't the kind of courage that made you leap without thinking like the frogs or birds. It was a quiet bravery, a heart that knew that even the slowest and smallest of creatures could make a difference if they were willing to try. "I think I can help," Timmy said, stepping forward. The animals turned to look at him in surprise. "You?" a squirrel asked, raising an eyebrow. "How can you help, Timmy? You're just a turtle. It's too dangerous." Timmy took a deep breath and looked at Lily, who was still trembling by the cliff's edge. "I may be slow," Timmy said softly, "but I am strong and I know this pond better than anyone. I think I can find a way to get Lily down safely." Without another word, Timmy began to slowly move toward the base of the cliff. The other animals watched him in silence, unsure of what to expect. Timmy was determined. He knew the terrain around the pond, and he had spent years exploring every corner of it. He knew there was a hidden path along the rocks that would lead Lily down to a safe spot where she could climb over the bank and reach the others. It took time, more time than anyone expected, but Timmy's steady steps never wavered. He moved carefully, ensuring that he didn't slip or lose his balance. The rocks were jagged and slippery, but Timmy had learned to navigate difficult paths with patience. After what seemed like an eternity, Timmy finally reached the bottom of the cliff, where a series of stones jutted out from the water. "Lily, you can come down here," Timmy called up to the frightened rabbit. "I'll guide you step by step. Trust me." Lily, still unsure but desperate for a way down, nodded and carefully began to follow Timmy's instructions. She hopped down onto the first stone, then the next, each time with more confidence as Timmy guided her from below. The current below roared, but the rocks were steady, and Timmy's calm presence gave Lily the courage to keep moving. One stone at a time, Lily inched her way down the path Timmy had found for her. The climb was slow, but with Timmy's guidance, Lily felt safe. And when she finally reached the bottom, she looked at Timmy with gratitude in her eyes. "Thank you," she said breathlessly. "I didn't think I could do it, but you showed me the way." Timmy smiled, his heart swelling with pride. "You did it yourself, Lily. I just helped you find the right path." The other animals cheered as Lily hopped to solid ground, safe from the danger of the cliff. They surrounded Timmy, patting him on the back and praising his bravery. "You saved her, Timmy," the squirrels said. "That was incredible." "You're much braver than we thought," the birds added, fluttering around him in admiration. Timmy felt a warm glow in his chest, not from the praise, but from the knowledge that he had helped someone in need. It didn't matter that he was slow or that he didn't have the same kind of speed or agility as the other animals. What mattered was that he had a brave heart, a heart that was willing to do whatever it took to help someone in trouble. From that day forward, Timmy became known as the turtle with the brave heart. He still wasn't the fastest or the most daring, but he had something that made him truly special. His unwavering courage, his deep knowledge of the land, and his willingness to help others no matter the challenge. Timmy continued to live in his peaceful pond, always looking out for his friends and helping them whenever they needed it. And though his adventures were quiet and thoughtful, they were always full of heart. He had learned that bravery wasn't about being the loudest or fastest. It was about doing what was right no matter how small or slow you might be. Timmy's heart was as strong as his shell, and it was the bravest part of him. The animals of the pond knew that no matter what happened, they could always count on Timmy, the turtle who had learned that true bravery comes from the heart. Timmy, a small young turtle, emerged from his cozy burrow, his shell gleaming in the morning sunlight. He was a creature of habit, enjoying the simple pleasures of his meadow home. He loved the taste of juicy clover, the feel of warm earth beneath his feet, and the gentle sounds of the river. He was, however, a little timid. He often hesitated to venture far from his burrow, preferring the familiar comfort of his surroundings. He watched as the other meadow creatures, squirrels, rabbits, and birds, scurried and flitted about, their movements filled with a sense of purpose and adventure. He longed to be brave, to explore the world beyond his burrow, but his small heart often fluttered with fear at the thought of the unknown. He would watch the river, its currents carrying leaves and twigs downstream, and imagine the vast, mysterious world it led to. Today, though, Timmy felt a spark of determination. He decided to take a small step, to venture a little further than usual. He set off towards the riverbank, his tiny legs carrying him slowly and steadily. Timmy reached the riverbank, his eyes wide with wonder. The river, shimmering in the sunlight, seemed much larger and more powerful up close. He saw dragonflies darting over the water, their wings flashing like jewels. He heard the gentle lapping of the water against the shore, a soothing, rhythmic sound. He noticed a small, brightly colored flower, a forget-me-not, growing near the water's edge. He had never seen a flower so blue. He was drawn to its delicate beauty. As he approached the flower, he heard a faint cry, a sound of distress. He looked around, his eyes scanning the tall grasses. He spotted a small, fluffy bird, a baby robin trapped in a tangle of vines. The robin, its wings fluttering frantically, was unable to free itself. It chirped pitifully, its tiny body trembling. Timmy, despite his fear, felt a surge of compassion. Timmy, overcoming his timidity, approached the trapped robin. He saw that the vines were tightly wrapped around the robin's leg, preventing it from escaping. He knew he had to help. He used his strong beak to carefully nip at the vines, his small jaws working diligently. The vines were tough, but Timmy persisted, determined to free the robin. After a few tense moments, the vines finally snapped. The robin, free from its entanglement, chirped gratefully, its eyes wide with relief. It fluttered its wings, testing their freedom. Timmy, feeling a sense of accomplishment, watched as the robin took flight, soaring into the sky. He felt a warmth spread through his chest, a feeling of satisfaction he had never experienced before. He realized that even a small, timid turtle could make a difference. He had helped a creature in need, and in doing so, he had found a courage he didn't know he possessed. Timmy, emboldened by his success, decided to continue his exploration. He followed the riverbank, his eyes taking in the sights and sounds of his surroundings. He saw fish swimming in the clear water, frogs leaping from lily pad to lily pad, and butterflies fluttering among the wildflowers. He came across a fallen log spanning a narrow section of the river. It was a natural bridge leading to the other side. He hesitated, unsure if he should cross. He looked at the log, its surface rough and uneven. He imagined himself slipping and falling into the river, being swept away by the current. He felt a familiar wave of fear wash over him. But then he remembered the robin, his successful rescue, his newfound courage. He took a deep breath and with a determined step, he began to cross the log. He moved slowly and carefully, his small legs gripping the rough surface. He kept his eyes focused on the other side, his mind filled with thoughts of adventure. Timmy reached the other side of the river, his heart pounding with excitement. He had crossed the bridge, he had faced his fear. He felt a sense of triumph. He found himself in a hidden grove, a lush green space filled with berry bushes. The air was filled with the sweet scent of ripe berries. He had never seen so many berries in one place. He began to nibble on the berries, savoring their sweet, juicy flavor. He was so engrossed in his feast that he didn't notice the approaching shadow. A large, grumpy badger, named Barnaby, emerged from the bushes, his eyes narrowed, his teeth bared. He was the guardian of the berry grove, and he didn't take kindly to trespassers. "What are you doing here, little turtle?" Barnaby growled, his voice deep and menacing. "These berries are mine." Timmy, startled, retreated into his shell, his heart pounding. He had never encountered such a large and intimidating creature. Inside his shell, Timmy felt a wave of fear, a sense of helplessness. He was trapped, vulnerable. He imagined Barnaby's sharp claws, his powerful jaws. He closed his eyes, his mind racing. He thought about his burrow, his safe and comfortable home. He thought about the robin, his act of courage. He thought about the bridge, his successful crossing. He realized that he couldn't stay in his shell forever. He had to face Barnaby to stand up for himself. He took a deep breath, and with a surge of determination, he emerged from his shell. Timmy, standing tall, looked at Barnaby, his eyes filled with a newfound courage. "I'm sorry," he said, his voice trembling slightly. "I didn't know these berries were yours." Barnaby, surprised by Timmy's boldness, paused, his eyes widening. He had expected the little turtle to cower in fear. "I was just exploring," Timmy continued, his voice growing stronger. "I've never seen so many berries before." Barnaby, his gruff exterior softening slightly, looked at Timmy, his eyes filled with a hint of curiosity. "You're a brave little turtle," he said, his voice less menacing. "Most creatures would have run away." Timmy, feeling a sense of relief, smiled. "I was scared," he admitted. "But I decided to face my fear." Barnaby, impressed by Timmy's honesty and courage, chuckled. "Well, you're welcome to share the berries," he said, his voice now friendly. "Just don't eat them all." Timmy, his belly full of berries, returned to his burrow, his heart filled with joy and satisfaction. He had faced his fears, explored new territory, and made a new friend. He had learned that courage wasn't the absence of fear, but the ability to overcome it. He had learned that even a small, timid turtle could be brave. He entered his burrow, his shell gleaming in the fading sunlight. He felt a sense of peace and contentment. He knew that tomorrow he would venture out again, ready for new adventures. He curled up in his cozy burrow, his mind filled with images of the river, the robin, the bridge, the berry grove, and Barnaby. He drifted off to sleep, his dreams filled with tales of bravery and exploration. He knew that his heart was brave, and that he could accomplish anything he set his mind to. He was Timmy the Turtle, and he was ready for whatever adventures lay ahead.